Welcome back, students. We were talking about professional ethics, and as we have studied that in any professional or in any profession, there should be some rules, some ethics or code of ethics, code of conduct, which should be followed by the professionals. Since the professionals have specialized knowledge about the things, and when they are serving the public, there should be some professional ethics which should be practiced. There are some professional responsibilities of the professionals as far as the professional ethics are concerned. The professional carries additional moral responsibilities, those held by the professional, the population in general. This is because professionals are capable of making and acting on an informed decision in situation that the general public cannot. It means a professional knows more than general public. So when they know more, they should be held more responsible in their activities, because public can do bad or public can do any kind of activity which is not good, because public does not have, or general public does not have, the information. But the professional, he should always be held responsible, because his knowledge in the specific field is more than the general public. Let's take an example. A layman member of a normal public member, could not be held responsible for failing and to act to save a car crash victim, because they could not give an emergency tracheotomy. Means a general public, or any person or any layman from general public, he should not be held responsible of a car crash or a road accident, because he is somebody who cannot give emergency aid or medical aid to the victims. This is because they do not have the relevant knowledge. Since the general public do not have the relevant knowledge, they should not be held responsible. On the other hand, in contrast, a fully trained doctor with all correct equipments would be capable of making the correct diagnosis and carrying out the procedure, and we would think it wrong if they stood by and failed to help the situation. But if there is a doctor who has the equipment and who knows the procedure to treat, and if he or the doctor commits any mistake, then we will say that no, this is something bad, and we will make him responsible of the activity. So a normal person cannot be held responsible because he doesn't have information or knowledge. On the other hand, a professional will be held responsible because he does not have the information. So next, code of practices. Question arise as to the ethical limits of the professional's responsibility and how power and authority should be used. As we know that there is autonomy in a professional, so the autonomy should not be used, or the autonomy or the power should not be abused, and they should not be used in negative meaning. For example, an American business may approach an engineer to certify a safety project which is not safe. For example, An American businessman has a building, and from an engineer they want, and the building, it is not up to the mark. On the other hand, not safe, unhealthy, unsafe building is made by the American business, and he will request an engineer to give certificate of fitness certificate to this building. Whilst one engineer may refuse to certify the project on moral grounds, one engineer will say, sorry, this building is not up to the mark. That's why I cannot certify this project or this building. I cannot say that this building is good. That's why I will not certify this building. But the businessman will go to another engineer, less scrupulous engineer, who will be prepared to certify the project for a bribe. Another engineer will take a bribe and he will certify the building. Now, the businessman, since he has some deficiency or some discrepancy in his building, he is not spending money to improve the quality or the strength of the building. He has given a bribe to the lawyer or an engineer, sorry, to give him a false certificate, thus saving the business the expense of redesigning. Disciplinary code allow that profession to draw a standard of conduct and ensure that individual practitioner meet the standard by disciplining them from the professional body if they do not practice accordingly. This allows those professionals who act with conscience and to practice the knowledge, and they will not be undermined commercially by those who have less ethical qualms. So here we see that there are some people who are ethical, who are always performing well, and they do not accept any wrongdoing in the profession. But there, on the other hand, there are some people who accept bribe, some kickbacks, some bribe, and they can do whatever the client is demanding. So, on the cost of ethical grounds or on the cost of the lives of the people. So, here we can see that there is a code of conduct where we can see that some ethical activities or some ethics should be self-regulated by the individuals or the professionals. They should make a standard of their performance or standard for their ethics, that something which is not acceptable should not be done. When we talk about the regulation or regulatory authorities, there are some problems. Number one, there are questions surrounding the validity of the professional code of conduct. So, professional code of conducts are valid or not? There is a question, debatable. We can have a debate on this. On the practical level, or it is very difficult for those independent of the professionals to monitor practice, leaving the possibility that a code of practice may be self-serving. Number two, this is because the nature of professions is that they have almost a complete monopoly on the particular area of knowledge. Another problem, that professionals have complete information, and monopoly means there isn't any other person who have complete knowledge. So when we see and we know that there is a saying called "Andho mein Kana Raja." So "Andho mein Kana Raja" means, since some professionals have more knowledge, if they have more knowledge, there isn't any other person who has as much knowledge as they have. So means they have monopoly in their information, and they can abuse this also. For example, until recently, an English court deferred to professional consensus. One no, on matters relating to their practice, they lay outside case and legislation. Now, in education, in English courts, if there isn't any consensus amongst the professionals, all the professionals, misal ke taur pe A, B, C, D, E, all the bodies, professional bodies, they come to a consensus. When they come to consensus, then court will interfere. Otherwise, court will not interfere. Separatism. Separatism is a theory. On a theoretical level, there is a debate as to whether an ethical code for a for a profession should be consistent with the requirement of the morality governing the public. Here, the debate comes to a conclusion, or debate comes to a turn, where separatists argue that professions should be allowed to go beyond such confines. It means that professionalism should not be confined to a circle. Rather, they should be set free, because sometimes the situation becomes very critical. So they take decision as they judge, and they should and their decision can go either way. So they should be so professions or the professionals should be allowed to do or to go beyond any confines or beyond any circle, so they can take decisions. So these are the separators. This is because they are trained to produce certain outcomes which may take moral precedence over other functions of society. Let's have an example. For example, it could be argued that a doctor may lie to a patient about the severity of their condition if it is a reason to think that telling a patient could cause them much distress, that it would be detrimental to their health. This would be a disrespect of the patient's autonomy, as it denies them information on something that could have a great impact on their life. This would generally be seen as morally wrong. Here's one case where if a doctor lies the patient about his health, because if he tells the truth that your that the that your condition is very severe and it cannot be improved, then patient may get more stress and he may get more problems for his health. However, so if doctor lies the patient, then people will say that no, doctor should not lie the patient, and there should be, this is very morally wrong activity. If doctor lies the patient, even the patient will get stressful, and it will damage the overall condition or overall health of the patient. However, if the end of improving the maintaining health is given on moral priority in society, then it may be justifiable contravene other moral demands in order to meet this goal. But if the goal is that lying with the patient will help increase his health, then okay, lying is acceptable. So, students, next topic is professional association. So professional associations are basically the professional bodies or professional organizations which are basically a non-profit organization. They seek particular profession, the interest of the individuals engaged in the professions, and the public interest. So basically, these organizations and associations work for the public interest, in the public interest, and they are non-profit organization, and they basically seek to improve the activities of any professions. The role of these professional associations have been variously defined. For example, a group of people in learned occupation who are who are entrusted with maintaining control or oversight of the legitimate practice of the occupation. So there are some people who get together to see, to basically work for their rights and to see their legitimacy and to see their legislations and to uh, influence the legitimacy or the legal advisory if it is required. Also a body acting as to safeguard the public interest. So here this body will also, this association will also safeguard the right, the interest of public, as we have already discussed. Such bodies generally strive to achieve a balance between these two often conflicting mandates. Those professional bodies often act to protect the public by maintaining and enforcing standards of training and ethics by their professions. So they so these bodies basically protect the rights of public, and they also enforce standards and some training to and ethics to the professionals. Some of the organizations are British Computer Society, British Web Design and Marketing Association, E-Skills UK, Institutes of the Management Information System, National Computing Centers, and Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. So these are basically some professional bodies of UK which are working in the field of IT and computer. There are many professional bodies all over the world and in Pakistan also. Some of the bodies which I had discussed in the beginning, and this was all from week number 1. So watch the video, and inshallah we will come back with the videos of week number 2. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.